I'm joined by Billy and Toller, who are moderators on my Discord channel, and we're taking a look at Starborne Sovereign Space. I've heard some chat that this game is coming near to the end of its season. This game is seasonal, so after something like 3 months, it resets. And whoever has taken over the galaxy wins. So it's been very quiet in the alliance that I'm in. I could join another alliance, I guess. I've just been slowly building, trying to stay quiet, trying to stay out of the way, and I've built up a couple of bases, so it's handy enough. I've done a couple of other videos on this, so I go to base 1 just by hitting number 1 on my keyboard, and that's my strongest base. It's level 4, and I've expanded through space here with a couple of other bases. I have a sneaky little base sitting over on the corner of my sector, just in case these ones get wiped out, because I'm being a bit cautious. I don't know how aggressive people are in this game or any of that kind of stuff. So before I set the dailies on those bases, I'm going to go into the store. Every day I get to pick up daily rewards. Cards, big part of the game. I've been getting to grips with it. These caches are nice. You pick these up. So there's always something to collect, but it's quite slow moving in terms of actual action.
So
Sorry,
Max,
how long have you been?
When you were showing the map, the ones that were highlighted, were those yours?
Yeah, so I can change the map view up in the top here. Exploration, resources, and you can see there the blue, that's me and my alliance, and I can zoom out. You can see this is our sector of space here. All the blue is me, all the red are our enemy, I believe, and the grey are neutral in terms of our alliance. You can see my little base down there. I set it at the edge of the sector, but if I zoom right out, you can see how big this actually is. Lots of sectors. And if I get lost, hit number 1 on the keyboard, take me right back to my base. We can look at it this way.
Oh, that's massive.
And this is just one server. This game is still in its testing phase. Guys are quite cool. It's one of these games where I think it's a small development company. I haven't researched them too much, but it's a small enough development company. I'm on their Discord. I was chatting to some of the guys and they seem cool enough. And like I say, it's slow enough moving. But I just log in and collect what I can collect. Set events to run, like this. 12 hours. Set the event to run, there'll be a reward for that when it's completed. I'm going to my messages, it's flashing up here. You see there's combat reports. That's an attack I done on a neighbouring base that I think has gone inactive.
So you just set it for a future time and then it does it?
I set it to run, and there'll be a travel time involved. So it could be anything from 10 minutes to an hour or two. Like I haven't gone to the further reaches of that. It could be hours upon hours on end to get to the other end of that map. So that's all the battle reports. So here's what I do generally when I log in. I haven't been on the receiving end of too much aggression. My little base down the end here, number 4 I think it is. This little base was attacked by somebody. This is a rank 1 station. I think it was like a rank 3 player attacked that wee station. Probably thought I was a noob. with one little station there and thought it'd be smart to attack me, or that I was inactive and I was fair game. So I found that player. I'm not sure, they were around here somewhere. I found that player. You can see if I zoom out a little bit, I'm on over here. So I got my force together and I went over and I attacked his base, and I haven't heard from him since, so that's good news. He might end up watching this stream and think, oh, really?
That tosser. Yep.
So I've got a couple of fleets down the bottom here. A variety of different styles of ships. So these ones I can sabotage with these ones. So I have 2 fleets of sabotage ships. And there are NPC marauder bases that I can hit, like this one. We'll always have a little bit of resources, but it's good for practicing things like sabotage. But I've discovered 1 or 2 relatively inactive bases nearby. I can scout them. You can see I've already hit that guy. So he's got 8,000 of each resource there, so I'm going to sabotage him first. And I'm going to send an industrial fleet, which are like miners, and combat fleets. And we're going to raid them. You can see here when I hit send raid, I think that's something like 2 hours and 58 minutes before that fleet gets there. So no sense in me sitting watching the clock on that. So what I'll do is I'll go to each base.
You have repair times too for this.
No, your fleet will get destroyed, or units will get destroyed in that fleet.
And then that's it?
And then that's it, you build more, yeah.
Start over.
And this, the trick of course is not to get destroyed, you know.
And there's no shield or anything like that?
Nothing like that. What you can do is you can set and build up defenses. So I have a fortress here, and that fortress will defend its neighbouring squares or hexagons. So I've also got a missile battery, which the advice I got early on in this game was put your missile battery beside your fortress and your fortress beside your base and so on, and it'll protect those neighbouring hexagons. And having the missile battery and the fortress combined makes it tougher to take out the missile batteries. Keeps them going for longer, adding more defensive capability if you get attacked. So I followed that advice, but I haven't been attacked that much.
Okay, is this a pay-to-win game, or?
There's an element of that in it, Billy. You know, in the sense that you can go and buy things. I'll show you here. Special offers, for example. So there are packs you can go and buy that will give you advantages in a variety of different ways. The criticism I would have heard of that from some would have been that why would I go and play a seasonal game that and pay money for packs that after 3 months are lost when the season ends and you start again. Valid enough criticism, I would say, but I believe there's a part to it. Cards is a big part of the game. You can set cards of all different kinds to give all kinds of boosts. I believe you retain your cards as you progress through the game.
Retain the cards, that's fine. Yeah.
You know, or at least that's my understanding of it. This is my first time trying it, obviously, so I'm still learning. But this is essentially what I'll do every day. Log in and try to complete these, set an event to run, raid a neighbouring station somewhere, There's DJ Logic. It's been around as a neighbour for a while. Level 3 base, so quite a nice base to raid. And I think he's gone inactive because I haven't got a response from him when I've raided him before. So
you have different ships.
different types of ships which you put into different types of fleets. So we'll raid this guy.
Wonder if this is like what things are to come in real life.
Yeah. So I'm hearing something as well from some of the forums of this game that what they're gonna be doing is closing down the ability at some point. I think it's happening soon, if it hasn't happened already. Closing down the ability to move alliances after a period of time, so that you're kind of stuck when it's coming towards the end of the season, or say 3/4, 2/3 the way through the season. It seems as though they close off jumping and changing alliances, so you're stuck with whoever you're with, which is one of the things that's making me wonder, should I be looking to leave the alliance that I'm in, because they don't seem to be very active. They have a Discord. I've been chatting to some of the guys, but it hasn't been a hive of activity.
It makes you think that you might want to jump because you might be missing out.
Basically. Yep. But I'm happy enough here.
Oh, it looks like MBQ Fox has joined us. Hello, Foxy.
Hello, Fox.
In the gaming chat. He does a bit of DJing with me as well.
Good stuff.
What should I call you? Captain Picard? Kirk Picard. Anyway.
And Amorgin, Sherry Miller was wanting to know what the name of this game is.
So this game is Starborne Sovereign Space, and I've just logged in to do some of my dailies. So the last bit I have to do is in the buildings, build a bit of some of the buildings. My main base here, quite strong compared to the others. So I'll do this life support unit because that gives me a thing called labour, which you need labour to do anything in the game. So these are housing units for we guys to run your base essentially. And then you've got your different mining facilities and your refining facilities that you upgrade, and all the wee perks of the game. I haven't got down to the tier 4 yet. I'm on tier 3. And if you look up here, I'm level 44, so every time I hit 10 levels I can build another station. So I'll get a 6th station when I hit level 50. And here's the shipbuilding. So I can build whatever number of those that I want, of the different types, and then add them into the fleets that I've created. And I'm limited as to the number of fleets I can make, until of course I upgrade.
But you can have any number of ships within a fleet.
So far there hasn't been a limit except for the labour and the resources to build them.
Gotcha. So resources.
Yeah, presumably you can just keep building them, you know.
Yep.
And you can see here that this is my fleet, but if I go into my hangar, those are the ships that I have in reserve that I can add to those fleets now if I want. So these have all been built and ready for use. They just won't be part of my active army, we'll say, if I get attacked.
What kind of resources do you have to build?
Gas, crystal, and metal.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds a bit familiar. And of course, then labor is the other key resource. But obviously, you don't farm the labor; you build that up within your station. You farm the other resources.
So you have to mine all that.
You build a mining facility, but if you have these resources within your catchment area, I think you mine them automatically. Depending on how strong your base will generate so much from the resources around it. And then of course the cards will give you boosts to all of that. And then you'll have a storage limit.
So does it depend on where you want your kind of fast?
So far, yeah. Well, I'm thinking whenever I'm building a base or a mining facility, it needs to be nearby to some of these. I'll show you now. Some of these resource nodes. So that one there, for example, is. Let me see. I own that. You can see because it's within the blue, and that's a medium crystal field. So I'm getting crystal from that.
We're familiar with that.
Yep.
Are there enemies inherent in there? You know, that try to go somewhere? Are there native enemies in an area?
So NPC.
Like NPCs? Yep.
Is that what you mean, Toll, or NPCs?
I guess. Yes.
Yeah. So
like in Starfleet, in Star Trek Fleet Command, you know, you've got the Klingons. If you're not a Klingon.
Oh, factions. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any factions. But what you do have is you'll have your factions, of course, your alliance with other players, but you'll be in a sector. So this roughly this area here is my sector. It usually displays the text, the name of them, so it's Caprica or something, Sagittaria, these kind of things.
Yep.
And each sector has its own set of alliances, has its own set of politics. You go over to this sector, that's another set, and another sector here, another set of politics. So they'll all be working within their sector. And in the center of each sector is this thing called Dyson Sphere, if I can scroll down to it. And the objective within your sector is to capture this Dyson Sphere. It gives whatever boosts or power.
And that's owned by another.
So the Foundation is the alliance that owns that. Mm-hmm. I tried to join the Foundation when I first joined the game. They were our main rivals. I didn't get much of a response from them, so I got an invite from Crimson Dawn, and they've been very quiet. So they own that Dyson Sphere, and in each sector they're all fighting over their own Dyson Spheres, and then it's all about going and capturing the neighbouring sector and taking over their Dyson Sphere, and so on until you go for galactic domination. But that can be
like capture the flag kind of thing.
Kinda, but that can be done. Your dominance can be achieved through politics. So alliances between alliances, will between clans or whatever you want to call them, guilds, forming alliances with other groups like that will allow you to attain dominance as well, because once you've got a group together and you've reached a certain stage of development, you can form like working groups with each other, and every time you capture a Dyson Sphere, I think you can add another group to that. So you don't have to join with the group that owns the Dyson Sphere. If you've captured another Dyson Sphere, you can invite their rivals, for example, into your group. And you keep growing and growing like that until eventually you dominate a sizable enough chunk of space, and you end up allying with another group of similar size or stronger, and so on, until you either bring peace to the galaxy or you destroy the galaxy. It can come down to a bit of a battle royale, you know.